new, probably the Corolla SE.
Yeah.
Light shaded. So we'll see.
They make great cars. It's my favorite. I always end up going back even if I try something else. I go back to Toyota.
What's up, Metal Summoners? I'm going to jump in real quick and get us all kicked off, horned out, and started off. We are so appreciative of you guys, you Metal Summoners, every week joining us in the gorgeous afternoon today. Metal Summoners, we appreciate you guys. UK Metal Summoners, we are super duper stoked that you guys are going to be able to see us at a reasonable hour. That's not 3 a.m. But the Core 4 is back together to kick it old school for you guys for this very special episode of the Metal Summit. Back on our island of misfit toys, we've got Psycho Steve, we've got Empress Bobby Dreyer, we've got Heavenly Angel Alamo, and we've got myself as well. But we are super duper stoked to jump right into it with our guest of honor this afternoon. We very much appreciate all his various projects. He's given us so much bitchin' music, but we're going to talk about everything current and everything coming up. We've got Ron Bumblefoot thal rocking out with us today. What's up, my man?
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. First and foremost,
I wasn't expecting 4 of you. I thought it was just going to be Angel. And then I'm like seeing all these faces I know. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, happy Halloween. So
happy Halloween.
We're just pulling off masks and just exposing our glorious faces for you. But again, thank you so much, my friend, and welcome to the Metal Summit.
Thank you. Anybody dress up?
Yeah, I just got back from Disney. I literally just got back from Disney.
Damn.
And I was there shooting Hanson.
Nice.
Mr. Mbop themselves.
Very cool.
I did like a rock and metal Beetlejuice myself.
Nice. I did nothing. I didn't even get any trick-or-treaters.
Really?
I just get nothing. I think back to when I was a kid, it was like I was dressing up as Ace Frehley. My mom dressed up as Paul Stanley. My dad was Gene Simmons, going out trick-or-treating and everything. And there's kids everywhere and just flying eggs. And you go to school if you had school that day, and then you have to just like give everyone like the finger of death because they're about to like, shaving cream you while you're wearing your school clothes. And it's like, and everything. Yeah. It's so different now, isn't it?
It's so different. It's funny. So when I got all Beetlejuiced out was a couple of days ago because my girl and her best friend wanted to do this like bar thing that they like to go to. So we went and had a good time with that. But it's funny because we just hung out last night and just relaxed, watched horror movies and watched like creepy things, and it was great. And the thing that's so funny is people would ask me, they're like, do you get a lot of trick-or-treaters? I'm like, no, honestly, I don't get any because I live in an apartment complex. And I think, like you said, Ron, the times have just changed. When we were all kids and stuff like that, like, dude, I don't know about you guys, but I was just a killing machine. And when I saw like an apartment complex, I got excited because I was like, wait, are you really telling me that this one building has got like 15 homes in it that can all give me candy? So, dude, I was ruthless when it came to it back in the day. But it was funny because a few years ago, I was in that mindset. I was like, you know what? I have nowhere to be. It's Halloween. I just want to kick it tonight, watch movies, and I just want to give out candy. I want to be that awesome guy that doesn't give you like 2 pieces, gives you like a fistful. So I bought like all this candy. I was ready to go. Not a single person knocked on my door. And I was like, how is that a thing? But
it's like that for years now. Yeah.
I don't know if apartments are just no longer the cool kid on campus or whatever, but yeah, it was definitely a weird one.
I stayed in, just watched horror movies. I saw just some of the new ones at this stream. I watched Cobweb and Significant Other. I liked them both. They were good.
Oh, right on.
I love horror movies.
Oh, definitely. I've been wanting to get caught up on that Last Voyage of the Dementor movie. That's been the one I've been really wanting to see, along with the brand new Exorcist. Those are the two that are like right kind of on my immediate radar is like the 2 horror movies that I definitely want to see.
I know The Nun 2 just came out. I haven't even seen the first one, so I got to catch both.
Yeah, absolutely. Do a little happy marathon there, man. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. But let's talk about, we've got new music coming out shortly from Art of Anarchy. What can you tell us about it, my friend?
Yes, the little band that could. Just chugging away and not dying. What can I tell you? Well, I should start back and give you like a quick history going back 25 years ago. So I had a studio in Staten Island. For you that don't know, that's one of the forgotten borough of New York City. and had a studio there. And there were these two twin teenage kids that would come in, John and Vince. John played guitar. His twin brother Vince played drums. There were these metalheads that always brought in some producer that was trying to make them sound like the Goo Goo Dolls, like exactly like the Goo Goo Dolls. It was the 90s. And yeah, and that wasn't what their heart was or anything, but I would always record them in my studio, and they were great. Their parents were wonderful, always stayed close, stayed friends throughout the whole time. So fast forward now to 2011, they hit me up. They say, we want to make the album we never got to make, our dream album. What we want to do is we wrote 10 songs, just drums and guitar. Want to come into the studio, record them. If you want to lay some more guitar on them, feel free. Everyone can do whatever they want. And we're going to get different singers to sing on different songs, and we're going to put it out ourselves. No record label stuff or anything. And that was the plan. So they just wanted to make the album that they always wanted to make. So started reaching out to different singers, and the first one to say yes was Scott Weiland.
Wow.
And he did a song, yeah, talk about starting at a good place. So he wrote up a song, and the whole deal was anybody could write whatever they want. Nobody's telling anyone what they can do. There's no governing thing. That's why, it's kind of why the band ended up being called Art of Anarchy, because there were no rules. Anybody could do anything to these songs, and whatever it is goes. So it was, yeah, ungoverned music, Art of Anarchy. And he wrote this song called Till the Dust Is Gone. And we ended up shooting a music video for it. And it was just fantastic what he did to that song. And you realize why the greats are so great. It's not just the sound of their voice, but they just think of things that you would never think of. They're on a different plane. And from there, his manager said, you know what? We want to make this a band. Let's turn this into a band. Scott is going to sing the whole album. We're going to make this a real band. It's like, the hell yeah, sure. So there you go. We draw up contract, the band agreement. Here's the royalty split. Here's how we'll promote. Here's, we'll do this and that. And John Moyer from Disturbed on bass, he joined, and now we're a band. And that's how it became a band. It wasn't the original intention. From there, we got a manager who was a friend of John Moyer's to start taking care of everything. And he was like, instead of putting it out yourselves, why don't you try and get a record deal and everything? So now fast forward ahead a little more, and we put out the album in 2015. And hours after announcing that the band exists, before we even put out the album, we put it out there, and it's spreading all over the place. New super group, blah, 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 a member of this and this and that. And just a few hours later, Scott Weiland puts out a statement saying, I wish them luck finding a new singer. And it's like, yeah. So I immediately jump onto Rolling Stone and try and do Damage Control. And I'm like, look, I'm putting out my own solo album. Disturbed is putting out an album. Scott has the Wildabouts. We're all putting out other things, but we're also doing this. And that's what we're supposed to do. Make as much music as we can while we can. And it was definitely unexpected, because just the night before, we were all just coordinating and organizing. Yeah, all right, the bio is, we all approved it. Here's the logo that we're going to use for the YouTube blurb with these 4 snippets of songs on there to just show what the album will sound like. And, Scott's they're like, oh, can we just use these 2 instead and not give away 4 little snippets? And can we use this logo? And so everybody was communicating, and everything was set for the following day. And then suddenly that happened. And yeah, and it didn't get better from there. So the album did come out. And the thing is, we were negotiating with the record label right as Scott said that. And suddenly they pulled back. I think we'll cut those numbers in half. This looks like this is not a very sure thing that we're betting on. Sure enough, we had that turbulence. We did put out the album. Scott Weiland passed away not long after. It ends up being the last thing that he put out, sadly. And we put it out as a free thing in his honor. And from there, I was like, what do we do? Do we get another singer, or do we just hang this up? And then our manager said, I think I got singer number 2 for you. And it ended up being another Scott. And we put out in 2017 another album. And we got to tour and support it minimally, not as much as we were supposed to or planned to, because, you know, similar turbulence. So at that point, we did what we could. But when you have one destructive force in the band, there's only so much you can do. So by 2018, it was just, all right, let's put this on hold for a while until we can get this mess sorted out. And then 2019, end of 2019, John, the guitar player, gets sick. And he's getting sicker and sicker. And doctors can't figure out what it is. And it was bad. He was dying. He had no energy. He would choke in the middle of the night. He couldn't breathe. People had to watch him sleep. He was going blind. All these things. Like he was just, and all he could do, he's like, his immune system was zapped. He was just slowly dying, and doctors didn't know what the hell it was. So all he could do is lie in bed with his guitar and watch movies and just try and distract himself from his own situation. And one movie he would just watch over and over. I see in the chat, we got Lisa. How you doing, Lisa? So all he could do is just watch movies and play guitar. He would watch the Joker movie that had just come out recently over and over and over. And that just, for some reason, that one, it really got him where he was a great distraction, and it really brought him in and kept his mind off of what was happening. And he would just play guitar while he watched the movie over and over. After doing that repeatedly, anyone that plays knows that after a while, whatever you're just noodling randomly starts to solidify, and it becomes something. And next thing you know, he's playing definite parts to the movie. And it's like he wrote his own music to this movie as he watches it. Doctors eventually were able to diagnose him, but they couldn't even get him into the hospital to treat him because of COVID. The hospitals were full. So he had to deal with that. And if he did leave the house and if he caught anything, he was dead because he was just too weak. So it was some scary times for the guy. And when he was finally well enough to do anything, the first thing he wanted to do is get back in the studio. And he said, I have a song idea that I came up with. And is the opening scene, what he would play when he watched the opening scene of the Joker, that idea that came together became the opening to the song Vilified, that opening riff. And what he ended up doing is he wrote the song Vilified watching this movie, and the ideas that became the song Vilified. So in the second half of 2020, we recorded drums and guitar to that song, and I threw ideas down. And every Friday, they would come over to here, and we would just record and finish another song. Every night by 9 or 10 o'clock at night, we had another one done. And we did that for the rest of the year, and we had like 2 albums worth of music done. And that's how the band resurrected. That's how it happened, is that he almost died, and just noodling, watching this Joker movie over and over gave him music to start recording and writing and doing everything. That's what sort of brought it back in a crazy way. During that time now, meanwhile, Sons of Apollo, we were touring in 2020, early 2020, we just put out our second album, and we had just had to run fast from Europe and get home in early March, just in time before the world shut down. We got about 4 shows into a 20-show tour and just had to throw our stuff in a storage place in Germany and get the fuck home. And that was that. So Jeff, the singer of Sons of Apollo, Jeff Scott Soto,
Yeah.
had always said to me, he saw what was going on with Art of Anarchy, and he would always say, you should have just had me as a singer, and everything would have been smooth, everything would have went fine, everything would have been sane and normal, and would have been happy band world. And it's like, I know, because I know from Sons of Apollo, he's the greatest guy you could be in a band with. He's rock solid. He delivers consistently, never an issue, no drama. He's a wonderful person. And he even picks up slack if there's a problem, with logistics. He can help with tour managing. Like, he's the first guy to jump in and say, let me help. He's just a great guy. So as we're making this music, he says it again. I said, well, I'm going to mention something to the voters. I'm going to take you up on that. And I said to John and Vince, I said, Jeff said if you want singer number 3, I mean, Scott's only his middle name. It's not his first name. But if you want another Scott in the mix. And immediately they said, he's in. No questions asked, no audition, none of that crap. He has nothing to prove. If he wants in, he's our guy. And we continue. And sure enough, that's how it happened. So we started showing him the music that we've been recording. And Jeff immediately, he would just take it song by song. Say, oh, this song makes me feel like this, gives me this vibe, and I'm going to write about this. And he just wrote to every song, just came up with his thing. And that was it. Now we had a ton of music recorded. And John Moyer, he didn't want to continue. He wasn't going to continue with this. So we needed a new bass player. And Jeff said, what about my guy, Tony Dickinson? He's in my Soto band. We do Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He's doing the Mike Mangini solo album. He's a funny guy. He's incredibly talented. He is. If you ever, I don't know if you've seen, but he does these videos on YouTube called How to Lose a Gig, where he takes a song and plays to the song, and he's nailing the song, just grooving. And it says in the corner, like $50, like what he would be getting paid. And then he starts adding more and more notes. And the number starts going down, like 48, 47, 46, as he gets fancier, and he starts like tapping and doing all that and everything until it just drops all the way down to 0. And he's like, come on. He's just such a funny, amazing guy. He does a lot of stuff for like video game music too. Like, he's in that world too, which is great because we both are into that a lot. So immediately he's like, you're the guy, you're in, bass player. So there we go. And he just grabbed the music, and in a week's time, he's like, boom, 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 album done. And that was it. So then we started talking to our longtime video director friend, Dale Rage Restaghini. He is just phenomenal with the camera, writing the stories and making stuff happen. And he works with a lot of metal and a lot of hip hop. And I've known him for about 13 years, and he's been with us from the beginning. So he started planning what our videos were going to look like and ideas and bringing that to the table. And he suggested that we get in touch with the company Pavement. They do Plush, they're a record label. And I spoke to them, and they are a killer team. And that was it. We signed, and then we found a great booking agent that's looking into whatever we can do for 2024. So finally, after all these years, after these incarnations, we have a rock solid team. We have a label that really wants to push and do what they can. We have a band where everybody is facing the same direction. We have a booking agent that is looking for anything we can do, whether it's opening or headlining or co-headlining or festivals, anything that we can possibly do. And we put out in mid-September our first single, which was that song Vilified. Why that single? Why that one? Because it's not the usual comeback, punch-in song. It's like this dark thing, this long song. It's not radio format. Why start up again with that? It's because it's so personal, because that is the song that saved John's sanity and started the music back up. And that's also why there's so many Joker references in the video and in the song. We shot the video on that same staircase where the movie was shot, where he's doing that whole, that dance routine, the kicking and that whole thing. We went to that location and played right on that same staircase. And all of the news reports that are happening in the song, where he's like, we've been getting reports of violence and blah, blah, blah. Those were real news reports when that movie came out, where the media were being typical idiots and trying to create hysteria and like all this shit out of this movie. So we took the actual recordings of news broadcasts, and then we got Jeff Tate to re-speak them all and say them. So if you listen back to the song, suddenly it'll be like, oh my God, how did I not notice that? It's Jeff Tate. And he did for us all those news broadcasts, like re-saying them throughout that song.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
That's so cool. That's super duper interesting. And before I kick it around the table so we can get the guys all involved, what was the first, when did you first meet Jeff Scott Soto? Or was it through like a mutual like show that you guys did, or did you just know him from both of you being peers in the scene?
Well, I first heard him on the Yngwie albums. I was like, this is like the greatest singer. My God. And then just following what he did, but we didn't meet until Sons of Apollo.
Oh.
We knew of each other, and it wasn't until Sons of Apollo brought us together, and we clicked very well.
Nice.
We definitely did. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Right on, man. We love that kind of stuff. We love positivity. And speaking of positivity, let's bring in that toothy grin. Psycho Steve, where have you been?
So, welcome to the show. It's lovely to see you, as always, brother.
Likewise, Bubala, Sheena Punham, Butchki.
Oh, look at that. Okay. So, all right, we could do this interview in Hebrew, but I don't want to fuck with the goyim here, you know. So,
Rude.
all right. All right. So, Sons of Apollo came out with 2 albums, which are totally epic. So, for both tours and everything. And I know we're talking about now this amazing project, and we know now not to deal with singers named Scott, which is fine.
Only if it's a middle name.
Right. If it's a middle name, that's fine. So the question is, how can I put this? Do we have dates already lined up with, and are you allowed to tell us?
We don't have any show dates yet.
Okay.
We're all just, wiggling in our chairs, waiting to get reports from the booking agent on what's coming down the pipeline. So we don't have those yet. No. We do have a release date for the album that we have.
Could we talk about that?
We can talk about it, yeah.
Okay. So when is it due?
I should check my emails to make sure I don't get the wrong date. It's mid-February. I think it's February 16th next year is going to be when the full album comes out. Yeah.
Nice.
10 songs. It's similar to this sort of darker vibe of what the song Vilified is. Yeah.
Yep, I got the track listing right below on this.
He's on Angels on it. He knows.
Yes, I am.
He knows what time it is. All right. The other question is there any band you would like to see co-headline with you, or you guys do support for, or they do support for you?
Oh, there's so many. If anything, I would love to support another band and just kind of be the little fish in the bigger pond. I think would be a good way to go. There's so many bands like Nonpoint, great dudes. King's X, love them all dearly. I wouldn't mind doing something with, Five Finger or Slipknot or Avenged, but who the hell wouldn't? Yeah. So I think, I'm just thinking of bands that would be a fit with this band and what it sounds like. I mean, even Nickelback. Like, if you listen to some of the stuff on our album, it would fit with them. So I'm just thinking, just what combinations, could work musically. Yeah. And I'll flat out say it. I think Nickelback is great.
Oh, love it.
Dude, they get so much shit. But as far as, if you take a band and what they are great at what they are. And I worked out a couple of times with one of the guys in the band. We went to the same gym. Great fucking guy. Yeah, they're just cool dudes. Like they would be in here right now, just hanging and just good dudes. Yeah.
Nice.
And last but not least question, because we talked about it off the air, how you wore Ace's makeup and, you know, your mom wore Paul's makeup and your dad wore Gene's makeup. Do you plan on going to the last show?
You know, I wasn't planning to. It was the first show I ever saw in 1979, the Dynasty Tour, and still the best show I ever saw. The band New England opened. Oh, what's that?
Was that at Madison Square Garden?
Hell yeah. Yep.
With Pipe?
It was New England opened. And
okay.
Incredible band. Interestingly, two of the members of that band went on to join Alcatraz with Yngwie and Graham Bonnet. And yeah, so this is a band that people should check out. They had this one album that they came out with in 79 that such interesting album, like just great music. Like they were a rockin' band, but almost theatrical the way Meatloaf was and things like that, but not overly. It was so musical, great harmonies, just catchy shit. Yeah, the band New England. Look for the album that came out in 79. And because after they opened, at first as a kid, I was confused as a kid. Like I didn't know that there was such thing as opening bands. I was just going to see Kiss because I was 9 years old. And what the hell do I know? And I'm like, wait a minute, where's the makeup? Wait, there's a keyboard player. Who is this? We've been scammed. And then someone explained to me, no, they play and then Kiss comes on. Oh, and then I listened. And I was like, holy shit, this is great stuff. And the next day, I begged my mom, please take me to the record store. I need to get their album. And I went to, and I needed it that day. And next day, I couldn't live any longer without it. And went there, and they didn't have the vinyl. They didn't have a cassette. They only had it on 8-track. I was like, I don't care. I need this. So I got it on 8-track. And I played that thing until it snapped for years. And I could still in my head hear where the songs fade off and disappear. And you hear the, and then fades back into the next. For all you that don't know what an 8-track is or does, yeah, Google it. It was the best we had at times. And yeah.
It was the best we had. It was the worst we had.
Yeah, kind of both.
So that was Gary Shea.
Yeah, Gary Shea, Jimmy Waldo, Hirsch Gardner, and who am I forgetting? Fuck. Who am I forgetting? COVID brain, or I'm just getting old. And the other guy. Yeah, but great band. Interestingly, they went just a few years ago and played Japan for the first time. And they got such a reception there. And people telling them, we've been waiting over 30 years for you to be here. Wonderful. Yeah.
Wow.
That's freaking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Back to you, Jay.
Absolutely, no problem. Let's bring in our Disney princess. I think it's about time that we bring in that gentleman with his own double neck to whip around.
Yeah. So, Bobby, let's talk about our wood here, there, Mr. Bumble.
Yes.
Explain, Lucy, why the fretless?
Because it's shiny, and I like
shiny. Of course, you get fingerprints all over it.
Okay, well, Vigier, I used to build my own guitars, and I really sucked at it. But these were my babies. They were my monstrosities. They were hideous things, but they were my babies. So the main one that I played was a modified, horribly modified, old early 80s Ibanez Roadstar that I turned into this thing that I called the Swiss cheese guitar. It was yellow and it was full of holes and had this great setup of DiMarzio pickups. In fact, the same one that's in these, where it's the tone zone and a chopper and a 5-way toggle, where you have this one, you have this one as a single coil, you have these two together, you have these two out of phase, and then just this one. And I was doing a clinic tour It was 1997 through France. And there was one guy there that brought a guitar from this company he was representing, a local, French company, Vigier, Vigier, named after Patrice Vigier. He was the founder of the company. And he wanted me to play the guitar. And I was like, nah, I'm not looking for a guitar endorsement. I make my own stuff and I'm fine with that. He's like, just try it. And I was just being very obstinate. I was like, no, try it. No, try it. No, try it. No, try it. Try it. No. And finally I was like, okay. And I tried it. And my God, this thing played so much better than my own guitar or any guitar I made did. And it hit me then. I was like, I should leave guitar building to the professionals and to the qualified people. And maybe I should just stick to trying to play them and trying to build them. And met up with Patrice and we had a nice chat over dinner. I remember just sitting at this Indian restaurant, this big table, but it was just the two of us and just talking about music and everything, and just such a great guy. And I said how, look, building my own guitars is part of my expression, my creative outlet. And I don't want to lose that. And I would just feel wrong just playing like a guitar off the wall, just typical thing that doesn't have any identity to it. It's just feels wrong. So they were open to making weird ass guitars for me. So great. So we got a deal. And we went to the next NAMM show together. I was their guest at the Vigier booth, and it was early January 1998. And I saw one of the guitars hanging up was a single neck. They didn't have any double necks, just a single neck fretless with a metal neck guitar. And my eyes lit up. And I said to him, I was like, why didn't you tell me about these? Why didn't you tell me you make these? I was all excited. And he just lets out this frustrated sigh and looks up at the ceiling. He's like, we've been making these the whole time. And in 18 years, we've sold 4 of them. Wow. Nobody wants these. It's like, I do, gimme. And so he gave me one to take home. And immediately I started writing with it and getting comfortable with it. And now a fretless guitar is
a beast.
Yes, it is. It's like playing slide for anyone that plays slide guitar, where instead of pressing the string against the fret so that the length of string that vibrates is only from that point, or if you do it with a slide where you touch the string and it only vibrates from where it's being touched.
Or one of these.
Yeah, that too. With a fretless, wherever you press down, the string only vibrates from that point, but there is nothing blocking it off. It's not like a piano key and a piano key and a piano key. It's more like a cello, where it's just completely anything and everything in between. So it's like having a slide on every fingertip. So you can move around chords, you can do anything. It's like having a slide on every fingertip. And that leads to a whole different way of writing. It's like a different language when you play. So I started writing a lot on the fretless, and it reached a point where I was even writing in the same song, like one part is fretted, one part is fretless. But then when it came to playing live, I can't do both. I can't wear 2 guitars at once. Or can I? So at the time, I had to either choose, well, I'm just going to do everything on the fretted or everything on the fretless, until finally I told Vigier, I said, I need to find a way where I can have both and access both at once. So thought about a lot of different ideas, like a neck that flips. One side is this, one side is that, retractable frets, all different things. But just the most sensible thing was to have a double neck. I could even do different tunings on different necks. And that is where this came about. So this is the Bumblefoot Signature Series.
The Dumble Bumble.
Yes, the Double Bumble fretted, fretless, backbreaker guitar. And this has been my main thing. I do all my writing for everything from Sons of Apollo to Art of Anarchy, everything, and my own music, and just everything. This is my go-to guitar where I don't want to play without it. It has everything I need and everything I do. It even has, as you pointed out, this thing right here is a magnetized hole. From in it, I pull forth a metal thimble, a metal cap that I keep on this finger for when I run out of notes on the neck. Instead of pressing the string against a metal fret, this is my metal mobile fret that I press against the string to shorten the length, the vibrating length of string at that point, and I could continue the notes even higher than the fretboard. I can even hold it in front of the bridge here and shorten the length of string this way, where it offsets all the notes that you're playing here, and it's almost like you're playing from two different directions. Actually, it is. So I play from two different directions of the string using this. Yeah. Questions? Lisa, do you have a question?
Yeah, fans, definitely chuck them in there because you guys know us. We definitely want to have all of your questions, comments, anything you want to say to Bumble. We are all about having you guys get those things answered. But but real quick, Bobby, before I kick it back to you, Ron, question when it comes to like the double neck. I'm just kind of casually curious. I'm a bass guy myself, always have been, but the thing I find always very interesting about double neck guitars, of course, is the size in general. Can you speak, of course, a little bit on the physical nature of double neck guitars versus single neck guitars?
Well, double necks are like wearing two guitars at once. What can I tell you about it? A double neck guitar is just simply that. You have access to two different guitars. And in this case, one is fretted, one is fretless. But is that
No,
am I answering the right question? What do you mean?
That's really my fault, Ron. I really phrased that badly. Of course, because of the size.
Answered it badly.
No, not at all. Not at all. You answered it perfectly. You answered it perfectly. Just of course with the size, the weight differentials and stuff like that. When you started playing double necks, regularly with that, having that versatility live with all your songs, with your writing, was there any kind of just physical nature that you had to get used to, like carrying that extra kind of weight that of course is drastically different from just playing a traditional guitar?
Oh yeah. In this case, wherever you keep the neck on one guitar where it's comfortable, the other one is not going to be in that spot. So you kind of have to just average out, and one is going to be a little too low and one's a little too high, and you just make it work. Also, it's a lot heavier, and it certainly does compress the spine. I used to be 6'3". I'm down about 5'9", and still shrinking. And yeah, so it's definitely a back workout for sure. And if you're going to wear that for a couple of hours, you'll feel it after. But you just got to toughen up.
Well, Ron, the really thing that intrigued me about this guitar, look, I have a lot of instruments.
You have a few.
Yeah. Those numbers there. But the one thing about VGA that I learned over the years, again, prior to you playing it, a gentleman, Sean Lane,
he was all right.
But incredible,
rest his soul. Yeah.
But these guitars have no truss rod.
No, they don't. It is a sheet of graphite going through the center of the necks that keeps them aligned.
Perfectly rock straight.
Yeah, you never have to adjust. Yeah.
Which is incredible. And the intonation and the sustain on the sustain. Look, you can hear it. No, just
hear the sustain. Well, you would if.
But it's amazing how this thing, when I picked it up, I kept going. It is challenging. And, I text you a few times. I'm going, all right, you really got to use your ear. I mean, it's
your ears, your eyes. You just got to triangulate your senses and get it down. And the more you do it, the better it gets. And a lot of people think it's a Paul Reed Smith when they look at the headstock. But Vigier had it first in 1980. It's just coincidence that they have like almost identical headstocks. And it's nice that they're willing to coexist.
So
the whole world
you
could
and I
learn
did an
from
event,
Paul Reed Smith and Vigier.
And when I seen you playing yours, that made me chase it so bad. When you did your Zeppelin on it, I was like, yes, I'm getting one. I don't care. You called your guy. He couldn't find one. I found
You
this,
got one.
I found this in
UK?
the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, they screwed me on. Thank you, FedEx.
The shipping will always get you somehow.
But explain the paint on this. Somebody was saying that it's similar to
My underwear.
Peugeot's paint.
The inside of my underwear. It's this dip thing that they do. Yeah. All the immature people laugh, and everyone else is just like, jerk. So I'm the immature one. So yeah, they do this kind of weird dip thing where they I don't know exactly, but they dip it in, they pull it out, and every single one is different.
Yeah.
No two guitars are identical. Yeah. And it's pretty cool. They have a lot of yeah.
Look, I've had Steve Brown play it. And like I said, Adam Reaver, did a couple things to it. But man, it's that guitar. It'll even take the most seasoned guitar player and go, what?
It's doable. Look, if I could do it, any knucklehead can do it. You just got to practice.
It really makes you open up to a whole thing. Like you said, writing wise, it's a challenge, but it's so much fun to play.
It is. It's a lot of fun. Look at the cat. Who's your little baby there?
Before I throw it back to Angel and them.
That's Nick's.
Your book, which I purchased online, still never got it though. Are you still putting them out? Your Adventures of Bumblefoot.
How did you not? So my merch company just completely fucked that up and never sent it to you? Did they contact you?
I got my shirt, never got my book. But I didn't know if you were, because on the website it just says coming soon.
What, the book says coming soon?
Yeah, which is strange.
Okay, so then maybe they ran out of them, but you paid for it, yes?
Yeah, I did that. I got your, but look, I have all your stuff.
I got to get that. You know what? I got some cleaning up to do.
That's all right. Look, it all runs, but are you...
way too much fucking up. Not cool.
The transcriptions on that. I mean, look,
it's 200 pages of the most.
And if a lot of people haven't heard Ron's early stuff, if you're a Frank fan, man, dude, I have to say that was the things that got me right there. It was, I heard Joe's Garage. I heard, that early Frank, what gravitated Vi to it. You're almost like that incarnation of Frank.
It was out there, but didn't take itself too seriously. Like it had crazy technicality, but and like it was serious music, but it just kept this humor to it, in a way. Just interesting stuff. So that album came out in 1995. That was my very first album. It was on Shrapnel Records. And The Adventures of Bumblefoot. And I haven't done an entirely instrumental album since, but I have finished one up. And almost 30 years later, it's going to come out next year. I'm just getting all the pieces in place because there's a lot of stuff I want to do for it to make it just more fun for people than just something more engaging than just listening to it. So I'm going to make some animated videos, working on getting that happening. But what I want to do for the first song, which is actually inspired by my cat, which looks very similar to Nick D. And I'm just, my heart is melting right now looking at that baby, and I miss my boy, and I want to get home to him. And my boy.
Have you ever thought about doing an instrumental? I mean, not an instrumental, instructional, like True Fire, whatever, on the fretless?
See, I did one 10 years ago. I did must have been 24 different things for it was Jam Play, who now merged with True Fire. So they're on there. They're available. I don't remember if I did fretless stuff or not. I probably did. I mean, it's 10 years ago, and I can't even remember what I had for friggin' lunch. So, But anyway, so I did this. I have a new instrumental album ready to go. It's mixed. It's done. I'm just doing things that'll be more fun. Like the first song I want to put out is 8 minutes long. And to make it more interesting to listen to and engaging, there is a video game in the works, a simple video game, so that instead of just listening to the song, you can actually play a video game while you listen. So that is just more interesting for the listener. I just want it to be more fun for people. And the plan is it's to be a free game, everything, just to make it fun. Yeah. That's what it's about at this point. I don't give a shit about money or fame or any of that stuff. I am on the decline of life. I am in the final chapter. I'm old. So all I care about is just having fun and dying with a smile. I'll be good. And if I can make other people smile along the way, that's the goal. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. 100%. Angel, it's all you, my guy. Take it away.
Angel.
I just want to say thank you for your time.
Yes.
No, thank you.
I'm definitely excited about the new record. On the second record, you kind of tortured me by having us wait for the video, where this time I was just on YouTube one day and I had to do a double take. I'm like, Art of Anarchy Vilified. I'm like, did I miss something? It's got to be a new song. And that's how I found out. Which was a better way than having to be tortured and wait.
Yeah, we didn't do any build up, anything. It's just boom. The band is back. Here's the video. Here's the song, and just did it like that.
Yep,
Which it's debatable if that's the right way to do it. Because
no, it's as a fan, that was like a shocking way. I mean, it was like, damn, this sounds fucking awesome. And I just kept listening to it over and over again.
Cool.
Until the phone died, which took a few hours, thankfully.
Good.
But
now, am I missing? Like, I'm looking on the screen here. I see like comments, but these are just like the StreamYard comments. Am I missing a whole bunch of chat from anybody? Like, is this on Facebook or YouTube or something?
Facebook and YouTube, yeah.
It is. Okay, because I don't want to neglect anybody if they have questions or anything to talk about.
No, I check everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we're also catching guests a little bit off guard too, because they're very used to us being on at 9.
Yeah, which is toughy.
So probably catching some people coming out of work so they can listen.
I'm old, I told you.
It's
because I'm old. I gotta be in bed by 9 and wake up with the sun and get the early bird special and So I appreciate you guys accommodating me and doing this earlier.
No, we appreciate you, brother. I mean,
this is great, and it's our 200th.
Ellen likes it early. I'm with you, Ellen. Yeah,
absolutely. It's our 200th episode today, Ron.
Oh no way! Congratulations, 200.
200, the Bumblefoot experience.
Good.
And these guys trust me to produce the damn thing with the comments and all that stuff, which I'm like, what are you guys thinking?
Doing great.
Yes.
My question is, can you tell us about the making of some of the other songs, and can we expect a new single before the album comes out February 16th, 2024?
I think so. I mean, we shot a couple of more videos, and I think we're going to put out another single before the full album comes out. When, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah.
And
so there should be, and so there's, as far as like what the other stuff is like, it's similar. There might be one or two songs that are a little more, formulaic, radio-ish, not like intentionally like we need to write a radio song. It's just you write what you write, and in the end it's like, oh, this one sounds like it would be better for radio, that kind of thing. So there's one or two of them, but I make sure that I put some crazy guitar crap in it and to ruin it. And there's a lot of longer songs, and it just, I would say overall, you know what, I shouldn't even say that about the radio thing because it just sounds so just disingenuous. You write what you write, and it is what it is. Overall, John and Vince, they're really the foundation. They're the core of it all. It began with them, and they have a very old school metal kind of thing to them. You could hear like the Metallica, Megadeth kind of guitar riffs and drums and everything. So there's that there, but then you get Jeff singing, which adds this whole other vibe to it. Me, I'm just a weirdo, so like whatever I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add interesting noises, atmospheric kind of guitar sounds, and secondary melodies. And if there's a guitar solo, I'll do my little R2D2 shit. And And then Tony just, holding down the bass, just, digging in and just hitting it hard and giving it the beef, the meat, giving it what's funny is you realize like how much the bass really, people say they hear a heavy guitar sound. They don't realize how much of that is coming from the bass and the two together, and how just like the grit and the tone and the growl and everything is really coming from the bass. Yeah. Just thought I would mention that. What do I like most about being a musician? The food. Going to different parts of the world and eating lots of food. I like getting the music out of the way so I can eat the food. Yeah. No, it's everything. And it's that. It's so much. It's so much to the music world. It's the communal thing of just connecting to people, just doing shit like this and talking. And it's making people happy doing what you do and sharing it and just paying it forward, because you wouldn't be doing it if others didn't do it for you. If you didn't hear bands that made you just love music, it wouldn't have inspired you to the point that you feel like you're willing to just devote your entire life to doing that same thing. If you can make people feel that good as the stuff you love makes you feel, then that's a good life. As up and down as anything, as any life is. If you can do that, yeah, it's pretty damn good. You experience a lot of stuff. It is not a very linear, on one path kind of life. There's so much to it. Lithuania. My grandparents from Lithuania, Belarus. Yeah, they love metal out there. Very good. Nice.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a big part of it, is just you never stop growing, you never stop improving as long as you're willing to. A lot of people, if they think that they're God's gift, then they're going to suck from that point on, and they're just going to just get very stale. But really, we are all just humble beginners on an infinite path of what you can possibly learn and write and do. I love the teaching aspect of it. Absolutely. That part is great. If someone didn't teach it to me, I wouldn't be doing it. So I love teaching it to others and then seeing them do it. And I've seen some amazing students go on to do some great stuff. You know the band Thank You Scientist?
I've heard them, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are one of the greatest bands. They're incredible. The guitar player Tom Monda gave him a couple of lessons when he was a teenager, and I take zero credit for everything he has done because it's all him. The guy is a genius and he is a master at guitar. He's also playing fretless and Vigier and phenomenal. Yes, absolutely fucking phenomenal. Yeah. There is a young lady named Sierra Levesque from Ontario, Canada, who I started giving her guitar lessons when she was 15. And I should put a link in this chat. She is just incredible. She can sing heart songs like Crazy on You and stuff like that, like it's nothing. Like, she has an incredible voice, great guitar player, great songwriter. She plays drums, bass, piano, tons of different instruments. I helped her set up a home recording studio. She records herself, and then I help her mix it. And she just put out her first single, September 1st, she put it out. And it's called Get Off My Stage. And it's a diss song where she's dissing Machine Gun Kelly. Because way back when Machine Gun Kelly switched over to rock and he started shit talking like Corey Taylor and stuff, and things like that, she got very offended by that. You're not going to diss Corey Taylor. So she's like, you know what? Someone needs to write a song dissing him. So she made this rock song where she just rips Machine Gun Kelly apart. And it's all in fun. It's all humor and everything. And she put that out. And it actually has been getting airplay in Canada on like commercial radio stations.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and she books her own stuff. She takes online music courses with Berkeley, and she's going to go really far. She's got the passion, she's got the talent, she's got the drive, she's got the head. She's going to, whatever she chooses to do, it's going to go well. She's one of those. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
it just, for me, when you see stuff like that happen, it just makes you feel so good to see anybody doing something great. And if you are somehow part of their journey to help them with what they're doing, that's why I love producing more than anything. There is a band called the Dodies, Dodies. I just finished mixing their third album.
D-O-D, I'm sorry, D-O-D.
Dodies, the Dodies. It's this garage rock kind of Nirvana meets Radiohead sounding duo. And they are so amazing. The singer has this, his voice has such dynamics and range to it, and just has so many vibes to the way he sings, all like in one song. And it's just so multi-dimensional is the only way I could describe his singing. And the melodies he comes up with are so unusual, but work so well. It's like tasting something you never ate before and you like it. He plays guitar and he sings. He's a great showman. His lyrics are so deep and just, yeah. The drummer, he plays full drum set with just one arm. And with his free hand, he plays bass on a little keyboard and sings backing vocals. And every once in a while, he'll grab his other drumstick off of that and play. And the guitar player will kick on an octave pedal that's running to a bass amp. So they're taking turns being the bass player, and they sound huge. And it is such interesting stuff. And what's amazing about them too is that, you know, bands these days, they use a click track. They might, you know, fix the tuning of stuff. These guys, they just look at each other in the room and play live, and first or second take is the one of everything.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's like a dream come true to record. And they are so creative and love to experiment and try different things with the mixes. And it's such interesting stuff. Really is. Yeah.
That also kind of, that reminds me of some friends of mine named Ralph and Nikki, and you'll also appreciate this as well, Ron. So like they're in a band called Crash Karma. They live out in LA. They tour all over. They're like referred to as like the heavy metal White Stripes because they're literally just a two-piece band, a guitar player and a drummer. But the thing that's so awesome also about him is Ralph makes his own guitars, and he created his own hybrid guitar of both guitar and bass. So he has guitar strings and bass strings built into this guitar so he can play them both. And he can also click a switch on his guitar to turn off the bass if he just needs it to be a guitar and stuff like that. But it's super duper cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think you would definitely dig them. They're called Crash Karma. Everything's spelled with a K.
K-R-A-S-H. Crash Karma.
Yeah,
definitely going to check them out.
Definitely. Yeah. Angel, let's kick it back down to you, buddy, because it looks like we had some questions pop up.
Right. We got some questions, and we're short on time, so we just want to do the...
Absolutely, sir.
What are literary influences, I see.
Yep.
No, I don't want to interrupt. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say a question, but you can go ahead. It's your
show. No, it's your show. I'm just a guest. Okay. What are the literary influences on your writing? Well, very often when it comes to lyrics, sometimes they'll just pop in my head all at once, like a scene that you just picture, and then you just have to describe the scene. And it's just very just real life living stuff, what you feel, what you experienced. And then sometimes it takes other directions. And there was one album where I read a ton of Shakespeare, and I was getting influences and just sneaking in lines, thus with a kiss I die, into songs and things like that. All different. Yeah. So it's anything going from that literary or books like, well, for example, the last full album that I did, which is already like 8 years ago, called Little Brother is Watching, which of course is just a sort of twist on Orwell, 1984, Big Brother watching, this omnipresent, watching everything you do. But what wasn't considered is that each of us would have the power in our hands to do that. And collectively, it's almost like instead of having Big Brother, which exists in some sense in places, but really it's us. We are, a million armies of one in a way, all collectively together. And we're the ones who are watching each other and just everything, and watching authority and sharing and spreading and reacting and everything. So that's something that I think in the past they didn't consider, how technology could play a role to empower each of us, and how collectively what a power that can be. So I had written an album called Little Brother Is Watching, and that's the title track, the song of that. And so yeah, there's a couple of things that played an inspiring, influential sort of piece to the puzzle. Yeah. Oh, there's another question. Angel, please read the question aloud.
What advice would you give to a new band just starting out in the music business?
Don't do it. Yes, there's tons of advice. First of all, don't chase trends. By the time you get out there, the trend will be different, and all you did is just live a falsehood of who you really are. Sound like you sound. Be real, be authentic, be genuine, and there's only one of you, and don't be anyone else musically. Express that, and whoever's going to like it is going to like it. And what you need to do is just do your damn best at whatever aspect of what it is you're doing. Don't try to sound like anything else or anyone else. We are, of course, a collection of all our inspirations that make us what we are. But just sound like you, and don't worry about anything. Just put something out there that is just genuinely you. And you don't know who's going to like it, how many people or not. Don't worry about who doesn't like it. That's the big mistake people make. You could get pulled in so many directions trying to please everybody. And it's like, just remember, like, vegans are not going to like steak, no matter how you try to fix it up. So if you're making steak, know that the vegans are going to say, this sucks, I hate this. And they're going to go and eat their veggies. And that's for them. You're not making music for the people that don't like it. Remember that. You're making music for the people that do. And you don't know who they are yet. So just put your stuff out there and just keep doing what you're doing and keep getting better at what you do, and keep really digging deep and finding who you are and what you sound like and what makes you you, and don't hide it. Really put it out there. Don't water it down. Put it out there as much as possible in your music. Really just, show your guts, and the universe decides from there. If you affect one person, maybe that one person goes on to change the damn world, and your music was part of his inspiration, her inspiration. Or maybe 1 billion people like it, and you'll be remembered as the big pop princess. Whatever it is that you don't know, all you can do is your part, and your part is to do your best and be genuine. And the world will decide from there. And just to make sure that the world knows you exist, work hard on creating awareness, because you are just one grain of sand on that beach of information now. So that friggin' internet. So make sure that you do your part to make people aware, and hopefully just doing what you do, people will talk on their own and say, you know what, check this out. It's pretty interesting. And word will spread organically, and the universe will decide. But at least you can look yourself in the mirror and go to sleep at night, okay, knowing that you did something real and you gave it your best.
Absolutely, man. 100%. And Ron, we definitely want to be respectful of your time. So, Bobby, I'm going to kick it down to you, man. Anything final from yourself and fans? It is last call for alcohol. Any final questions?
Quick.
This is your chance to get them in so we can get them answered. But we do have a time crunch when it comes to Ron being able to get back to his studio and getting back home to his fur babies.
Yes.
Back to my cat, Simon.
Yeah. So, Ron, we're going to put this out really fast. Look, other than you being an amazing musician, you have some incredible hot sauces, which I love. You know,
The hot sauce.
oh my God.
We didn't even talk about the hot sauce.
No, that's what we're doing
I didn't
right
even know
now.
about
We're
the hot sauce.
Yeah.
You didn't even know about the hot sauce.
Oh, I love
Angel, everybody knows about the hot sauce.
Hot
it.
sauce.
Angel.
Well, I don't really eat hot sauce, but I'll try it.
And your name is Angel.
Should have been devil.
Well, Ron, so talk about the three delicious, well, two. One really scared the hell out of
One
me.
is not delicious. One is just pain, and you get it for people you hate as a gift.
Oh,
But
no.
I have them, and I got to say, they're amazing, but I'm going to let you talk
Thank you.
about them real quick.
All right, I was 12 years old, and my cousin Steve bet me $5 that I wouldn't eat a hot pepper. And I needed money to buy a DiMarzio Super Distortion pickup for one of my guitars I was butchering. I was like, all right, well, this goes to the pickup fund, so I'm going to eat it. And I liked it. And from that point on, I realized, you know what, I like spicy food. And people would get me hot sauce as birthday gifts and things like that. And half my refrigerator was just full of bottles of hot sauce. And just like music, when you love it, you want to make it and share it. And yeah, so that's what happened. Just like music, heard music I loved, and I was like, I got to do this. I got to figure out how to do this and do the same thing. Same with hot sauce. I had all this hot sauce. I was like, God, I love this. I would have like 5 different bottles of different flavors with a plate of food. And I was like, take a bite with this one. Let me try some of this. Let me have this. And yeah, I was like, I need to put out my own hot sauce. I want to get into this. So I was fortunate to cross paths with a company called K-John's. And they took me on as a signature, hot sauce thing. And so I showed them all the flavor ideas I had. I got this one with like blueberries and chocolate. I had these whacked out ideas. Yeah. And it was 2012. And I would fly out to them in between shows, and we went into the kitchen and started cooking. And they knew what they were doing, just like Vigier with guitars, and I'm just a hack at it. Well, they, with hot sauce, they know what they're doing. So they took my wacky ideas and made them real. We experimented, and like the blueberries weren't cutting it. Once you cook them, they get too mellow. They're not popping through. So they're like, well, let's try sour cherry. And sure, there you go. That's the effect. So we ended up putting out in early 2013 a line of 6 hot sauces. And they did well. They did very well. We rolled them out in Dallas, Texas at this food convention called Zest Fest. 2 of them won first place awards and just kept on going. And it's been just a great subculture of people. Such interesting, wonderful people. And there's a big connection between rock music, metal, and hot sauce. And I've thought about, why is that? What is it? And I realized that if you think about metal, like no other music will want to make you jump into a pit and elbow each other in the face. Like nothing gets you that riled up. Nothing screams as gutturally. Nothing is as intense and as loud. Hot sauce. Nothing you can eat will make tears run down your face and your nose run and you'd be running around the room and just chugging yogurt and milk, and like nothing can affect you as intensely as spicy food. And hot sauce, which is really just like the potent spice of it all, just it is the heavy metal of food. So for people that love to give the most intense feeling from what they do musically, those same people want to do it food wise. And that's why you'll find so many metal people and rock people that are like, I want to get into making hot sauce. And because you want to have the same effect, you want to make people scream and cry and run around the room and just go crazy the way nothing else could. So that's my psychological evaluation of it all. The company name for the hot sauces is Bumblefoot's Hot Sauce. Very simple, to the point. So there are 3 sauces that I whittled it down to because K. Johns, they sold the company. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start my own food company. I'm going to get my manufacturer. I'm going to get my distributors. I'm going to get my resellers. I got one in Germany, in Australia. I got one in Norway. I got one over here, over there, and put it all together. And I took the 3 favorites from the 6. And they are the sauce, a mild, flavorful, all-purpose, everything sauce. It is a red sauce, but not your typical just vinegar and peppers. This has Mediterranean herbs. It's much more complex. And I wanted something that goes with everything. On your eggs in the morning, on your Thai food, your Mexican food, your Italian food, your Chinese food, whatever you're going to eat where you want to give it some more flavor and a nice little kick. This is the sauce for that, aptly named the sauce. Now, let's say you want to go barbecue and you got some stir fry, you got a steak, or you got some chicken, you got some wangs, you got something, and you want it to have that barbecue-y flavor. Bumblicious. It has cherry, bourbon, chipotle. I've seen people drink it because they like it so much. And yes, so there's that. And both of them are very mild. They have a kick, but they're mild. Then the 3rd sauce.
The pain.
This one should not have ever been created. It is a scourge on humanity. It should not be ingested by anything living. It should not be buried underground. It should not be part of this world. It's so horribly hot. It's a terrible thing, and nobody should get it. You know the show Hot Ones?
Yes.
They did a blog a couple of years ago, and they listed my sauce, my hottest one, as the 3rd hottest sauce in the world. They said it was, according to them. And this sauce, when people just take a pinhead-sized dot and put it on their tongue, their gums, their lips, their tongue all go numb like you just got a shot of Novocaine. And it's like, ooh, that's hot. Then you wait exactly, timed perfectly, 10 seconds. And then it feels like an oven door opened up in the back of your throat, just like a... And you're like, what the hell just happened? And it stays and it does not go away. And it travels slowly into the pit of your being. And everyone is walking around doing the stiff penguin dance, breathing like this for like a good 10, 15 minutes. And they all quote the name of the sauce, which is Bumblefucked. And they say, I just got Bumblefucked. It's like, yes, you did. And now the thing about the sauce is for people that like heat, they're going to love this sauce. For people that want that endorphin rush, that rush that you get from something that tests your mortality for a good moment, this is the sauce for that. One drop will heat up an entire plate of food. And what's good about it is that the difference when you have this trilogy of sauces, you have the 2 very mild ones and the obscenely hot one. If you want to kick up the mild ones and bump them up to medium, all you have to do is just take a little dot of the Bumblefucked and use it like a pain additive, a heat additive to the other sauces. And now they just went from mild to medium. So they really all work in conjunction very well. Yes. So that is my other love, hot sauce. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
That's great.
That's so
It's
killer.
amazing.
I got one more fun question for you, Ron, before we cut you loose for the evening, because we couldn't appreciate you more. If anybody, of course, who is familiar with any kind of televised or broadcast rock and metal shows, there is kind of the granddaddy of them all, which you wrote the theme song for. I would love to hear you just talk momentarily about how you wrote the theme song for that metal show and how the riff came to you.
So I have been making music for video games and horror movies and TV shows for over 25 years. And I did one of the first video games that had actual music and sound on it for Sega. I did the whole soundtrack when they just made the Sega CD system, and everything went from 8-bit, to actual music and songs, 16-bit CD audio. I've been doing that forever. Now, my own music, I know is not like, it's fucking weird. Okay, I'll just say it. It's not the usual stuff. And with that, it really works well for visual stuff. So about 20 years ago, I started just taking all my music and working on song placement, sync licensing with companies that do that. And every damn day, my music is somewhere on TV and people don't even know they're hearing it.
Wow.
It has been on Oprah Winfrey. It has been on Tom Brokaw. It has been on NFL. It has been on NHL. It has been on MLB. It's very often it was on WWE. It was on So You Think You Can Dance. It was on Smallville. It was on the Osbournes. It was on Hogan Knows Best. It was on all those MTV shows 20 years ago. Everything, like the cartoon Clone High, use a ton of stuff. And also, I did a few theme songs. There was a show on Spike TV called MXC, which was like this Japanese game show where people did almost like Jackass type things. And I did the theme song for it.
It was kind of like Ninja Warrior, but where everybody just got destroyed.
Yes. So that, and then that metal show on VH1, it was one of my songs from one of my albums. They asked me if I had something in a certain style. And I said, well, here's a couple of songs already in that style. And if you like one of these, you can use it. Or if you like the idea of one of them, I could write something similar for the show. And they took one of my songs and said, that's the one. So, yeah. So that metal show theme song was actually a Bumblefoot album song. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
That's great.
That's awesome. And just as a fun follow-up, whose idea was it for you to do that live version in the bathrobe on the bed?
That was their idea. I just popped out of there. I think it was in Vegas, and we were all there. So I just kind of popped over with my guitar and put on a bathrobe, and I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the Jakey Lee episode where they finally hunted down Jakey Lee.
Ooh, damn.
It was something like that, but that definitely very memorable. But Ron Bumblefoot thall, we can't thank you enough, man.
Thanks,
for spending
Ron.
the time of your afternoon. It's been absolutely fantastic. And
Well,
for what
thank
it's
you
worth,
guys.
being that you are a big horror movie guy, we do a Halloween episode every year, and we would love to consider reaching back out to you around a Halloween episode to maybe get into the creepy side of Bumblefoot.
Yes.
That would be great. We can debate between I Spit on Your Grave 1976 and 2010. We can talk about this will be a whole other hour if I don't shut up right now about it.
No,
all.
totally.
We can definitely we can get in there.
Sounds good. Absolutely, for sure. Angel, real quick, my friend, before I close it out, anything on the board?
Just the new album, Let There Be Anarchy. You can go online and pre-order the album. They have bundles where you can get vinyl and a shirt and the CD and the shirt as well, which I'm going to get. So, new album, February 16th, 2024.
We love it.
And
Angel,
don't forget the hot sauce.
Don't forget the hot sauce.
Yes. The hot sauce.
You gotta love that. Angel, you're hired, man. Ron, where can you be found and where can the fans find anything for Art of Anarchy?
Anything Art of Anarchy, just look up Art of Anarchy band.
Yep, it's
So-
right there below.
Beautiful. Yeah, he's on it. Look, see, Angel is on it. Before I can even say it, he already did it. Look at that.
Yeah, but it's about you pumping your love in your product, my guy.
Instagram.com, Art of Anarchy Band, Facebook.com, Art of Anarchy
Yep.
Band, Twitter, Art of Anarchy Band was too long, so just Art of Anarchy. Even
Yep.
TikTok, Art of Anarchy
I forgot
Band,
TikTok.
YouTube, Art of Anarchy Band, and for anything with me, it's
Apple
just
Music.
Bumblefoot. Yep, everything is just Art of Anarchy Band. So
Awesome.
look it up and you will find it. Anything Bumblefoot, the same, just Bumblefoot. B-U-M-B, not bubble, Bumble. So yeah, because yes, B-U-M-B-L-E-F-O-O-T, and it's a nickname that I got from my wife is a veterinarian, and it's the name of an animal disease. Anthrax was taken. Had to go with that. So yes, and they got the cooler one. I got stuck with fucking Bumblefoot. Fate is a bastard. So so Bumblefoot, and I made a song called Bumblefoot. I was inspired by how silly the name was, and then I made my first instrumental album I was talking about, The Adventures of Bumblefoot, and then the band was, the music was so weird. So I was like, you know what, this would be a fitting name, like Mr. Bungle and things like that. So Bumblefoot became the name of the band. Being the singer and the guitar player and the songwriter and the band, it became like a nickname. So yeah, it's not like my parents, were on crack and just this would be funny. No, it's not my real name or anything, and just that's how it came about. And yes, so it's really a band name that became a nickname. Yeah, so I just throw it in
Nice.
there because that's the name of the albums. I use Bumblefoot as if like the band, and yeah.
Absolutely, man, 100%. But Ron Bumblefoot, thank you again, my friend. Have a
Thank
great
you.
rest of your evening, and congratulations on the upcoming release for Art of Anarchy. We couldn't be more stoked for you, my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all your time, and thank you everybody for typing in and watching and everything. Thank you.
Absolutely, for sure. Metal Summoners, we love you guys to death. Thank you so much for all of your continued support. Make sure that you're checking out Psycho Steve on all of his social medias, as well as his newly launched website as well. Make sure that you're checking out Bobby Dreyer at bobbydreyer.com for all of his photography shenanigans with Hanson shots coming your way
Hanson,
very,
I'm
very,
out with
very soon.
Metallica in Detroit, so I'll be there. I will be with Alice Cooper in 2 weeks. Who else am I with?
As in Monster Mania, Bobby?
Yes, Gary
Yeah.
Hoey. I'm out with Gary Hoey. I'm out with Nita Strauss and Wolfie. So I'll be out with them. And
Nice, dude.
Yep, I'll be everywhere.
Bobby, Megan and I will see you, dude. We're going to be at Monster Mania.
Great.
Awesome, man. Make sure that you guys are all following Angel at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram. You can also find him on the Facebook as well, and the X or the Twitter. And you can find me at Justin R&R Junkie at Instagram. You can also find me at Salem J on Facebook, as well as my own regular account as well. We are super duper stoked to see you guys next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Rock out and be good to each other's. Guest announcement for next week will come out over the weekend, and we'll see you guys in a week. Again, on behalf of Ron Bumblefoot thal with Art of Anarchy, we really appreciate him as well. And there you go. There's the double neck right there for you. Take care, Metal Summoners. We love you guys. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys in a week. Horns up, fangs out. You know the deal. As always, you guys have been watching the Metal Summit.
Yes.
Nice.